Hey everybody, it's the interview queen Alicia Atout here, and I am so very excited to be catching up with Effy. Hello.
Hello, I'm so glad you said your last name out loud because I've been saying it four different ways. So now I'm clear. And a toot
What
is
what are the
very
ways?
a tout. You never know with Canada, right? Like it could go different ways with the French culture.
I love the way that you went Atout. Like you just dip with it.
I can't help myself.
Right. Well, what have you been up to the last few days? I know everyone's kind of getting off of that holiday wave, so what's been going on in your life?
Well, so I took these 2 weekends off, last weekend and this weekend, from doing anything wrestling related, and that has turned into just me having mild panic attacks about booking my own show in April.
Right.
So it's been fun. I was joking with Impact superstar All Ego Ethan Page. I said a lot of wrestlers would say like, if you run your own show, you shouldn't just get spots on other shows just because you're booking people from other shows. And I think that's the opposite because if you're willing to run your own show, you're a crazy person and you should get any booking you want. Anything, if
Oh
you just
my
want to walk to the show and you're not booked, you should be the main event if you also book another show because it's a crazy amount of work and it's a crazy amount of just like having to let people down and go like, it's a 2.5 hour show. I can't book 400 people.
right.
I
And I mean,
should book 400.
well, I mean, for the big gay brunch happening in Tampa, you've been announcing some pretty sweet talent. So, I mean, you wrote something the other day how you haven't even been able to reply to emails because everything is just blowing up. So, tell me about the response because it seems to be so positive.
Yeah, and I wanted to make sure I did this show and it wasn't like, okay, he's calling it this big gay brunch and there's not like real gay energy to it. So first we found out that we could get Razor Ramon hard gay, which like a lot of people in America may not know him, but he was one of the first people to do really weird, explicit gay stuff in Japan. And people are like, oh, well, he's a straight guy. And I'm like, yeah, but he was the best representation of like how rowdy gay people can be. And as a kid seeing that, you were like, I didn't even know this was possible. So getting that was like huge. And then Cassandra was like, I can do the show. And I was like, holy crap. This is a lucha libre legend. This is someone who's been everywhere, who has dealt with everything. And talking with Cassandra and being able to hear like, if you think the homophobia here is bad, like you should hear some of the stuff I dealt with in Mexico. And culturally, it's still that way a lot. And knowing that that person is as strong as they are still today and still wrestling to full capacity. Like I know you've probably seen on shows like legends will get on shows and they do their three moves and they move on. But when
Right.
Cassandra works, I saw Cassandra, I think, work with Mercedes Martinez at Rise, and it was insanity because he's jumping to the floor and doing everything big and not holding back. And you're going, you don't have to do this at all. It's incredible. And then the last announcement I've had, besides my dog, which I announced my dog because people like my dog, and I want you to know my dog is going to be there as long as she can handle the pressure. But with Arian Andrew, who was Cameron in WWE and Total
Right.
Divas, a lot of people, it was kind of a split on the announcement of, yes, good, give this girl a chance. And two, oh, well, she wasn't that great at WWE. But I think if you really look prospectively at the time for women's wrestling then, there were a lot of girls coming in off the independents who had a lot of skill. And then there were a lot of girls who were there in the system who they were pushing extremely hard. And I think she just kind of got lost in that shuffle. And even towards the end of the run, there were some things that like showed some promise. And she had that match with Asuka. And it made me sad when she got let go and that she kind of turned herself from wrestling. And now she's been working with trainers in California and she's been working with her opponent, who I can't announce yet, to have this big comeback. She's got a big single coming out. She wants to get back to full time wrestling. And I'm like, look, you can come show the world what you can do. And they may second guess me at first, but I think after that show, Cameron's going to have a big year. Arian Andrew is going to be a bigger deal on the independent wrestling scene and just like for the whole wrestling world.
That's amazing. It's so cool to see these things come together. And I'm sure behind the scenes, it's pretty frantic trying to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Is that right?
It is. And Brett keeps having to remind me, Brett, who works with GCW, he keeps having to remind me that like it's a 2.5 hour show. It still has to be a cohesive show. And just throwing people on it is not going to be, make it a better show, just having more people there. Because I've been on shows where I'm like, why are there 14 matches It just
Why is it
feels like
midnight and
exact.
we're still going? It started at
Right.
6.
Or like your match 10 and I go, hey, you got to cut this down to 5 minutes because we ran over time on stuff. It's like, let's give everybody time. Let's set a precedent. And then if it is a big success, let's keep going with it and see if we can take it somewhere else.
That's amazing. And of course, with the title of this big show, you're the big gay brunch there. I have to ask if you could kind of have your own sit down brunch with 3 people, whether it's other wrestlers, musicians, celebrities, who would you love to just have in a room and just shoot the breeze with?
Can they be dead celebrities?
Yeah, I mean, it won't be as fun, but sure.
Well, yeah. So I just want to have brunch with Prince. I think it would be intense, but I used to have a nightmare about my second one that I would pick, which is Andrew Lloyd Webber, who has created such musicals as Phantom of the Opera and Cats. And well, hear me out, because if Andrew Lloyd Webber walks into your house, there's no way he's not going to be disappointed by your party, because like this is a guy who is like world created the most over the top, incredible, crazy
That's
musical
true.
shows. Like you can't just give that man a waffle and expect him to go for it. So I feel like if he came to my brunch, I would step it up and I would make sure I'm like 100% about everything. And the last would be, as an American, I have to extend my invitation. It would be Bernie Sanders, because I want to hang out with him. I want to hear more, and I want to get people behind the movement, because I can't keep doing what we're doing in America right now. It gives me panic attacks all the time, thinking about how our country is going, thinking about people who are hurt by the current administration. And also, since Donald Trump got elected, my boyfriend has been far more anxious, and I would like that anxiety to go away, and I think Bernie can beat him.
I love the sweet reasoning behind that. That's nice. That's good intent for the brunch. Just bring him in, lure him, just to get that
Yeah.
anxiety.
If I could keep him happy, we're good. We're excited.
Oh, well, one thing you have to tell me about is your hatred for pants. You even have it in your socials. Like, what's the deal?
Okay, here's the thing with pants. Like every time in my life that I'm required to wear pants, it's to do something that like I'm either having to be paid to be there for, or like it's an event I'm doing a favor for somebody on, like going to your wedding. I don't like weddings and I don't like funerals. And my thing is like if your love is so true and sacred and pure, just go get married at the courthouse and it's just as meaningful to you. But to make me have to get a nice outfit and put on pants and go and smile and celebrate, and now I got to buy a gift. It's just usually if I'm being forced to wear pants, it's not for something that I really want to do. And if I'm wearing wrestling gear or really small shorts or whatever I'm wearing, it's usually like I'm just living my life. So no pants. Pants are restrictive, and pants are forcing me to do stuff I don't like doing.
You're telling me they don't let you wear the fishnets at the wedding? What's the
Listen,
deal? Come on.
I married a couple this year that I knew back from college, and I was like, "Do you want me in full gear?" And they were like, "No, you should wear a tuxedo." And I was like, "Oh, really, really dragging it out." But I will say this: I made more money marrying those two than I did at the wrestling show I worked the night before, and I was really like questioning my my career path at that point. I was like, I had to go through tables last night and I didn't make this much money. People were just handing me, "You did so good, take some more money." And I'm looking at my pocket at the end of the day going, I got to do more weddings.
Right. Maybe tuxedos really are the answer.
I mean, listen, they're pants, but it was a really good paying pair of pants.
Right. And I mean, I remember the first time I saw you wrestle and your image just stood out so much, whether it was the spikes, the studs, obviously the fishnets, tiny little pants or,
Yeah.
shorts. And I was wondering, how did the whole fishnet thing start? Because I don't know if it was actually something as simple as, hey, it's a cool look, a little edgy, or if there's actually maybe a story behind it.
So I joke now that they're not fishnets, they're actually predator armor. Because if you go back and watch the Predator movies with the aliens, not like Predators like Chris Hansen, like the Predator movies with the aliens, they're all wearing fishnet stockings for some reason. And if you look it up, like in their lore, they're like, oh, that's ancient alien technology. And you're like, no, y'all just put fishnets on this alien. But originally when I did it, I started in the deep southern Bible Belt South. And I was acting a little flamboyant, but I needed that like immediate, like they know where I'm coming from. And so when you walk out and you're wearing pantyhose, like in the South, they try to eat you alive and they try to beat you up. And I was going for heat at that point because that was my audience, was these people who were not really sure. But like I feel like I have a pretty intense charisma when I'm totally on, and people were getting behind me anyway. And so like the fishnet stuck, but like not as a point of heat. And then with the jacket too, like I've always joked, like the jacket when I walk out is going to be over. It's a cool looking jacket. It's spiky. It's bright. I've done purple ones, pink ones, whatever. But the jacket comes off when the match starts. So like I have to measure up to the level of cool that my jacket was doing. And I may not always do that, but I really try. I'm like, I know once this jacket is off, I'm just a man in pantyhose. And it's like now I'm going to give you the show of a lifetime and try my best to tell that story, to make sure my opponent is safe, but also like meet that expectation of cool, which you in wrestling you don't always get to be cool. Sometimes there's a sense of satisfaction from filling your role. And if my role for the night is I need to look like a goofy trip around Bumbalo just dummy, then cool. We made the goal.
Right.
But if my goal is to like be the cool baby face on top, awesome guy who's in a match, I can do that too. And I like there's a satisfaction to fitting both molds.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I know that you have a busy day over there. You mentioned you're at work. Didn't want to hold you up for too
I'm
long.
wearing
I should just
pants.
say, she's wearing pants. It's one of those days, guys.
It's
But
one of those days.
just thank you so much for catching up with me. I'm really glad we were able to finally do this.
Yes, and keep doing your stuff. I'm loving having somebody on the scene who is an awesome professional interviewer. I know if I tune into your stuff, I'm going to learn something new about these performers, and I'm pumped to see you do more with MLW.
Thank you so much. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon, seeing you on the interwebs, hopefully seeing you in person shortly. Everybody,
Yes.
this has been Effy. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, you too.
Bye.